We're on time. It's very fun, eh? We all ready to go? Well, thank you for your attendance today for the announcement of the Australian teams and the captain of the Australian team, and Mal's going to do the honours of announcing both, but if you look to my left I think you'll realise who the captain of the Australian team is. But I'll hand it over to Mal to announce the Australian squad.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks everyone for being here today. It's pretty exciting times. Obviously it hasn't been a test match for 3 years, so this year with the World Cup there are 13 debutants in this squad. 4 players from last night's grand final are in the squad. So I'll read the names in alphabetical order. Obviously we've got Teddy as the captain from the Bulldogs. We've got Josh Adokar from the Parramatta Eels, Regan Campbell-Gillard, also from the Bulldogs, Matt Burton, from the Brisbane Broncos, Patrick Carrigan, from the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, the Daly Cherry Evans, from the Penrith Panthers, Nathan Cleary, Sydney Roosters, Lindsay Collins, from the North Queensland Cowboys, Ruben Cotter, from the Sydney Roosters, Angus Crichton, from the Gold Coast Titans, Tino Fasulamali, from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, we've got Campbell Graham, from the Melbourne Storm, Harry Grant, from the North Queensland Cowboys, Valentine Holmes, from the St George Illawarra Dragons, Ben Hunt, from the Penrith Panthers, Liam Martin, from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell, from Melbourne Storm, Cameron Munster, South Sydney Rabbitohs, Cameron Murray, and Cameron will be vice-captain of the squad. From the North Queensland Cowboys, got Jeremiah Nanai, North Queensland Cowboys, Murray Tuilagi. We've got James, obviously, as the captain. From the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, Jake Travojevic. From Canberra Raiders, Jack Whiten. Also from the Penrith Panthers and vice-captain, co-vice-captain, Isaiah Yeo. We also have 3 standby players. To announce Dylan Edwards from the Penrith Panthers, Nico Hines from the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, and Damien Cook from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. We have those 3 on standby due to obviously injury concerns or COVID, particularly over in the UK. I want to congratulate all those players, but also thank the selectors, Darren Lockyer and Laurie Daly, for their cooperation over the last few weeks, and of course the chairman, Peter Volandis, for being present as well. Thank you, Peter.
No, my pleasure.
That's it, guys.
Now James and Mal will take any questions you may have.
Now, what about that captaincy decision?
It's pretty easy, Reedy. Yeah, pretty straightforward. He's our premier player. Just got the player's player last night as well. I thought he's an outstanding candidate. Obviously captains his club and captains his state. So, congratulations to James. It was a pretty easy one.
James, what does it mean to you to be named captain of Australia, particularly at the last World Cup?
Yeah, huge honour. Mal called me and told me the other day, and it was just a real honour. I told my friends and family, and they were a bit emotional and really proud. So yeah, it's a huge honour, and I'm really excited to get over there and lead the boys and lead us to a World Cup win.
Now, Dylan Edwards was excellent last night.
Yeah.
Standby player. Was it the temptation included in the actual 21?
He's had an exceptional year, so I mean, it's a difficult situation when you're going to pick 24 players, and our best player is a fullback, James Tedesco. So I mean, it is difficult. But yeah, I mean, we had several conversations about this, and unfortunately, in this instance, Dylan misses out. But we thought we'd pick some standby players as well, because anything can happen it's a long tour. We're over there for hopefully 7 weeks, and yeah, he's just desperately unlucky.
You've got some decent fullback options too.
Yeah, we have, and with Latrell and Cameron Munster finished the year at fullback with the Melbourne Storm. Val Holmes can play fullback. Yeah, we've got some fantastic options at fullback, and touch and wood that we don't have to use them, and Teddy's there for the entire time. Just stay fit, yeah. Just look after yourselves, obviously. Because I said, it is a long time over there, and based on injuries, I remember in 17 we lost Jake Travojevic in the first game. So anything can happen. So we'd love those guys to look after themselves, and if called upon, they'll be in a fit state to come over and help out.
Now you've only known two because Ben plays halfback for his club.
I mean, Ben. Well, no, Ben's had a fantastic series in Origin. I think like 21 players in the 24 played Origin this year, and I think he's an outstanding hooker. And we've got Ruben Cotter, who is a backup hooker as well. He come to the Cowboys club as a 9, and so his form this year has been extraordinary. He can play anywhere in the forward pack. So yeah, well, I think we've got that position pretty well covered.
Does the fact that Charlie's not the vice captain suggest that?
No, it doesn't.
Nathan's got the running for?
No. It's the captaincy and the vice captain was considered through recommendations, but Peter and his board felt that was the right way to go, and to have someone like Cameron, who's certainly a future captain down the road, and Azar Yo, who's the captain of the premiership winning team, I think they've come with great calibre, and it will help Teddy out whilst on tour. But we've got a lot of leadership in the team. You go through it, DCE and Nathan, and you go through all the different players. They are leaders at their clubs anyway.
Is that a view to the future, Cameron?
Look, we wanted a leadership team that can assist James. It's a long tour, it's 7 weeks, and it's more than just on the field. You need role models for the whole period you're there, and we think that 3 leadership group will provide that leadership and assist James.
Now, you've been more committal about who wears the 7. Surely Nathan Cleary's going to be starting halfback in 2 weeks' time. Is considered the best player in the world at the moment?
Yeah, it's a good question, but Darley's the incumbent as well, so he was there 3 years ago and had a really good season, particularly Origin, when Origin is considered the biggest series of the year. So, we'll consider all options. That's what a tour is all about. Everyone will have an opportunity to put their, to prove that they deserve to be at the back end of the tour. So we've got 3 qualifying rounds. We've got a quarter final into a really important game in the semi. So all players will get an opportunity to play and put their hand up for a position in the team at the back end of the tour when it does matter, where we want to win the semi-finals and we want to win the finals. So, I mean, every player, and I've talked to Darley about it, and if you would have seen in the PM's game last week where, we put Darley at 6 on the left side, and I thought he played really, really well.
On the flip side to what Christian just said, given that the Kangaroos haven't played for so long, is it an advantage that maybe that Darley, obviously Hunt and Grant, Hookers and Cam Munster have that combination from Queensland?
Oh yeah, that's important. Combination is important. Experience is more so important. I would imagine, you can ask Teddy, there's not many players in this squad have been on a long tour. Not many players have. We've played in the 2017 World Cup, but that was at home. So this time around we're away from home, without families, by ourselves basically, in Manchester. So I mean, experience and combinations and friendships and all that sort of stuff, they come into play, and the balance of the squad has to be spot on too when you talk about positions, and players to play a number of positions when you're away, and that just comes from experience that that I've obviously experienced over a long period of time, and I think the balance of the squad is excellent.
Players been on a variety of positions. Has that probably hurt Dylan a little bit? Just all those pitching roles.
Well, I know Dylan can play right wing as well, but if you look at the squad. Our best player and our captain, he plays fullback. I go back to my original answer, and we've got several players in the squad that can actually play fullback if need be.
Can you talk about Campbell Graham? He's selection, I suppose.
Yeah, well, Campbell's been around a while in the rep scene, on the fringe of the Blues, and I've worked with Campbell before in the PMs. I thought he's had a terrific year, so great defensive centre, plays on the right side, plays tough. He's been played with a cracked rib for a number of weeks and played really, really well. So, I think his time has come as a player. I feel that he's done enough in the centre position, and he certainly can fill that void for us right centre in the Kangaroos.
Talked about incumbency. How difficult a decision was it to leave David at the start?
Yeah, extremely difficult, so we made a decision that, obviously we want to go with two hookers and a third one with a utility value, which is Reuben Cotter. So, Damien has been a great servant for the Rabbitohs, and, he's the incumbent. But we felt that, the two hookers we picked just got a little bit better than him at the moment.
What about Abby?
Yeah, well, Appy's in the same situation. So obviously he played in the premiership winning side, but we felt that the Queensland hookers were, best placed to be in the squad.
Can you give us a bit more insight the honour you've got, captain country World Cup?
Yeah, I don't think there's a higher honour to represent Australia and put that Australian jersey on, and then being given the opportunity to captain and lead the whole country. I don't think there's a higher honour in the game. So. When Mal gave me the call, I was pretty speechless and really proud of myself. And I know it's a big task, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a great opportunity. We've got plenty of leaders around me as well to help me out and to lead this team. So I think running out as captain with the Australian jersey on is going to be a really proud moment for myself and my family.
How's that phone number like now?
Like my answer before, it was very easy to ring him up and say, listen, congratulations, you're obviously going to play, but we want you to be captain as well. And he's very humble when he heard the news and thanked me other copious amounts of time. But, like I said before, he deserves the position. And as Teddy said, it's an enviable position, to captain your country is an extraordinary achievement. It's honourable and it's a privilege, and but he's worked hard to get there, and he'll do a fantastic job on tour.
Now, how excited are you seeing Josh O'Connor with the green and gold again?
Yeah, no, excellent. We know what he can bring. We know how great a player he is, and he's turned into a great leader. Even though he's left the Storm and played for the Dogs, he's turned into a fantastic leader. And it was a pleasure to work with him last week in the PM's game as well. And he'll be an asset, and he's looking forward to touring and getting over there. And he's an asset off the field as well, as we all know. He's just a great person to be around.
Now, you're in a bit of a unique position, given how long you've been since the team playing and so many occasions. What's the most important thing they need to understand about what the green and gold jersey means, and how do you teach it to them?
Yeah, no, well, it's something that we'll have a conversation about, right from the beginning around, how important is the green and gold jersey, the history of the Kangaroos and success that we've had over a long period of time. I think that's a really important conversation to have. We've got a strong value system that, Teddy's been part of as well, which we'll discuss about moving forward, because I think that's the foundation to our success is around, how much respect and how much we honour the jersey and the position that we're in.
Now, do you feel a little bit of pressure to win it? I know Australia are going to be favourites.
There's always pressure to win it.
All this talk about New Zealand and the Pacific nations, the uprising. It's still a bloody good team, Australia's got.
Yeah.
We're expected to win it.
Well, you judge the strength of our team by the people who's missed out. So like I said, we only had 24 players to pick. So yeah, I mean, there's always pressure, and there's always this expectation that you put a green and gold jersey on, automatically you're going to win a tournament. So, but the international space has matured over the last few years, and the other teams are coming to get us. New Zealand, tremendous squad we just seen there today. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting for international game about where it's heading, and we're obviously part of that. But we're not going over there to lose. We're going there to win.
Yeah, Mal's been quite vocal about the whole eligibility status. Like, your position as chairman, I'm sure that the guys Mal and penciled in now saying they're going to play for other nations. What can you do to kind of...
Look, we want to promote the international game, so I don't have any problem with the player playing state of origin and then selecting the nation that he wants to play for. I think that's the way we're going to grow the international game. And Brad Fittler, the coach of the New South Wales team, has been very outspoken about the criteria. We did look at it last year. Unfortunately, COVID interrupted that investigation. We will continue to look at it because we want to have a very strong state of origin, but we also want to have a very strong international game. And I think that, look, there's a few tweaks we can do to the criteria where we can get both objectives satisfied.
In what sense would it?
I'm sorry?
In what sense would it?
Well, looking at if a player basically is born and bred in Australia, he can still play State of Origin and select the team that he plays for internationally is one of the areas that we can look at. And look, you've got the Tier A and T B nations at the moment. We have to look at that. But look, I don't want to preempt anything, but we'll certainly be reviewing it with the assistance of the two State of Origin coaches and Mal, naturally, to make sure we've got the best model, especially considering the growth of the game in the Pacific and to an extent where England's going, which are probably not as strong as they've been in the past.
Teddy, did you cut all ties with Joseph Silverkey?
Nah. Caught up with Joey at the Daliums. I messaged him when he came out and said he was going to pick Samoa. I was obviously disappointed. I thought he would be a big chance to make Australia, and he's had an awesome year, and I love playing with him. So, but respect his decision. I had a good chat with him about it, and I love Joey. So, yeah, hope he goes well. I know he wants to play fullback, and I'm sure he'll do a great job.
We love the word X Factor. He's a genuine World Cup X Factor.
Yeah, well, that whole Samoa side is very strong now with his addition, and the boys that have been chosen in that team. It just makes the competition, the whole World Cup, a great spectacle, and it's going to be a great competition for us to go against. So every team, as I said, the international game's growing. Every team's gotten a lot stronger. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great World Cup.
What are you, Mel? You been here for life? Joseph?
Yeah.
It would have been lovely to have him in there.
Oh yeah, but again, we respect his decision, So I mean, I've said it all along. I just want players to make up their mind, And if you got a passion for playing for your ancestral nation, I'm happy for you to do that. I mean, and as Peter mentioned, we just got to just create a bit more clarity around when they make a decision, so that I think it's in all fairness, we try to push the eligibility early so that all teams could prepare the best they possibly can, not just us who pick a team today, then all of a sudden we give the other squads, a chance to pick the remainder. I just think that in all fairness, we pick, you nominate early who you want to play for, and just get on with the job.
All right, we might announce the Jillaroos if that's okay.
That's us.
No, that's you. Thanks,
Yep,
Mel.
thank
Thanks,
you.
James.
Thank you.
To my right is the coach Brad Donald, and to my left is Tony Norris and Kylie Hilda, the two selectors of the side, who have done an excellent job in a very professional manner in picking the team, because it is a very difficult one, because we have some very talented young ladies playing the game now, and that was proven last night with record ratings watching the women's game. So I'll hand over to Brad to announce the Jillaroos.
Thanks, Chairman. I too would like to acknowledge the selectors, Kylie and Tani, in what has been easily the hardest Jillaroos selection since I've been around, since 2016. So done an amazing job, and the reason it's been so difficult is because of the class of the players and the level of the women's game and how far it's come. I'd like to congratulate and announce the following players that will be selected for the Jillaroos, Harvey Norman Jillaroos World Cup squad. Taryn Aitken from the Brisbane Broncos, Kezzy Apps, St George Illawarra Dragons, Millie Boyle, Newcastle Knights, Sammy Bremner, Sydney Roosters, Ali Brigginshaw, Brisbane Broncos, Lauren Brown, Gold Coast Titans, Jamie Chapman, Brisbane Broncos, Kennedy Cherrington, Parramatta Eels, Shanae Sizolka, Brisbane Broncos, Yasmin Clydesdale, Newcastle Knights, Keely Davis, St George Illawarra Dragons, Talia Fuimono, St George Illawarra Dragons, Talisha Harden, Brisbane Broncos, Caitlin Johnson, Newcastle Knights, Keely Joseph, Sydney Roosters, Isabel Kelly, Sydney Roosters, Olivia Koenig, Sydney Roosters, Shannon Marto, Gold Coast Titans, Avanya Politi, Gold Coast Titans, Julia Robinson, Brisbane Broncos, Jessica Surges, Sydney Roosters, Samaima Taufa, Parramatta Eels, Tamika Upton, Newcastle Knights, and Holly Wheeler from the St George Illawarra Dragons.
And the captains?
Yes, and the ARL Commission have announced that we'll take 3 captains, and that will be Ali Brigginshaw, Sam Bremner and Kezi Apps.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Yeah. So, obviously a tough decision with a lot of candidates at fullback. Do you know what they're going to do there?
Yeah, and look, that was probably the hardest decision for us to make. It shows the quality of the women's game when someone like Emma Tonagato misses out, but you've also got a Dally M medalist, fullback of the year, and a Karen Murphy medalist in the mix as well. So pretty much because of the 4-day turnarounds, what we'll do is we'll rotate a team. We'll rotate the team as best we can and give everybody an opportunity to be there come the semi-finals and finals. So that's pretty much what we'll do, try and get the balance right. Were you tempted to select Jessie Southall, given the performance all year? Yeah, look, she's been fantastic, and again, like, just shows the health of the game. And you know, she's had a big year. She's played in the Commonwealth Games in rugby, as well as a really first-class performance yesterday. I think she's certainly somebody that will be named in these teams in the future.
Do you look at the squad that you've picked there and wonder what the level might be in the actual tournament, given that the NRLW has come on so far in the last couple of years, whereas, for example, the Women's Super League back home for me is obviously not been to the same extent that's been here. Is there a worry that you could win every game 50-0 essentially?
Oh, it's certainly not a worry. That would be a good worry to have. But look, we're all internationalists, and we're all about growing the women's game too. And I think we've just done it better in our country than anywhere else because we've really invested. And hopefully, what we do is we go up to the Northern Hemisphere and we show them that if you invest really well, that they get great reward. You know, our commission's been really strong about the growth of the women's game, and I think it gives us a chance to showcase it not to just Australians, but those in the Northern Hemisphere. So, but don't get me wrong. You know, like, the Kiwis are going to be extremely strong. The English are always strong. France have been playing really well, and some of those other teams will be great as well.
Finally, nice for you to see Sam Bremner come back like she has this year.
Yep, she's had an outstanding season for us at the Sydney Roosters, and obviously she missed out in Origin because she'd only just started to come back from having that baby. But yeah, it's great for her. She's a great person off the field as well, which is something that we look at when we're putting together a side as well. So I'm really excited for Sam.
I need to make her up to him yesterday, or did you think of her?
Yeah, Meeks was outstanding yesterday. I think, she's been playing some really good footy all year. I think just to cap it off yesterday with the Knights and the performance that she put out there, she really showcased the type of footy that we want to see, not only for Australian level but Queensland level as well. I think she was outstanding yesterday.
How important, you mentioned with Jessie Southall going to the Com Games, how important is it to have someone like Avanya Politi who's got that long tour experience from going to the Olympics in the squad?
Yeah, most definitely. I was really fortunate to coach a couple of those girls a couple of years ago when we worked with the Warriors in 2020, and what we found out really quickly was those girls, and this is where the game's heading. The more opportunity they get to act as professionals and transition from the amateur to semi-professional and professional, the better prepared they are, the better the product. So somebody like Vani is going to be a big boost for the squad.
Right, you touched on how tough it is to select these teams. They're only going to get harder in years to come. You go 10 teams next year, there's going to be more players, more options.
Yeah, and it's a great problem to have. It's hard, and this is why I acknowledge the great work that Kylie and Tani have done, because their role in this is important too, because as Origin grows and there's more games and there's more opportunity, we're actually going to need to expose those girls to the higher levels. So it's going to get tougher, and it's hard because a number of players that have helped dig the well are the ones that are missing out. But that just shows that there's a bunch of people, a bunch of young girls, and also want to do acknowledge the NRLW clubs in how they've adapted and how they've made sure that those players are prepared and the product is great. It's not like preparing a men's team, and those NRLW clubs that have been really, we've seen nearly all of the NRLW clubs since the inception make the grand final. So they've all taken it extremely seriously, and they've had a big part to do with this as well.
Those three captains, what can you sort of tell us about them as leaders for the team?
Yeah, fantastic, all three of them, and again, just in our discussions around the tight turnaround, we've got, they've all been state captains before. Ali's the only one that's captained the Jillaroos, but Sam Bremner was named as the Jillaroos captain in 2018 before she had her first baby. Great leaders, great people around the team, and they're, it goes without saying, anybody that knows them knows that they're the right people to lead both on and off the field.
If you've got them all playing in one game, who's mattering the referee?
Good question. Probably, they're all a bit too kind for that, to be honest. Probably Ali, I'd say, yeah.
I think there's only about half a dozen survivors from 2017.
Yep.
So that shows the growth of the game. There was no NRLW back in 2017, so...
No, that's right, and the success of the 2017 team is probably why we've got an NRLW. So putting it on show was great, and then the NRL and the Commission jumping in and starting in 2008. We've come a long way just since 2018. So there's still a number of players running around, and we saw Vanessa Foliaki. She was in the World Cup squad last year. In the World Cup squad in 2017. Play yesterday, and other players. So there's still a couple floating around, but some have moved on and into retirement or injury. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Now we'll go on to the Wheeler-aroos. So if they can come up. This is a highlight for me because I don't think I've ever seen athletes like these. Their toughness, their perseverance and courage and bravery is beyond belief. So it's an honour to be sitting here today in announcing the Wheeler-aroos, and I want to hand over to selector Brett Clark to make the team, but I also would like to acknowledge David Nugent and Eddie George who are here with us today. So over to you.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to thank you to the NRL for the invitation to be here this morning for this announcement. So what we'll go through is the 12 players that will be representing the Wheeler-aroos this coming November in the Wheelchair Rugby League World Cup. Which will be hosted in England. So off the bat, we've got Peter Arbuckle from Queensland, who will also be vice-captain of the team. We have Corey Kinane from New South Wales, Craig Kinane from New South Wales, Richard Ingles from New South Wales, Brad Grove, who's also team captain from New South Wales. We have Sean Harry from Queensland. We have James Hill from Queensland, Diab Karim, New South Wales, Liam Luff, New South Wales, Bailey McKenna, Queensland, Zach Schumacher, Queensland, and rounding it off, Adam Tannick from Queensland. So that will be the 12-man team that will be representing the Wheeler-aroos, like I said, in November. So congratulations to those players.
And the captain?
Captain, again, is Brad Grove. Yep.
Okay, we'll take any questions.
Yeah, Brett, how exciting is it for the players and yourself to have the Wheelchair World Cup part of the, alongside the men and the women's World Cup?
I think for us, it's a huge boost to the sport to be on the same platform as the men's and women's game, and hopefully we can do the best we can from an Australian point of view to represent our brand of football in Wheelchair Rugby League to the world stage. Something exciting, new, a little bit different in its makeup, but still to the traditions of rugby league. So for us, it's a huge call out.
So in all games that
yeah, so as part of the broadcasting agreement that's KO and Foxtel, all games will be broadcasted, which is another huge first for us. Yeah.
So a lot of people are going to get to see for the first time.
Yeah, so a lot of the comments I've had is people are excited to see it. I think there's a lot of people out there who don't know the sport. Hope that we are bringing the interest to wanting them to understand what the sport looks like, and with that really boost the portfolio of rugby league as an inclusive sport. I think that's the telltale. It is an inclusive sport, and this is just one part of it.
Take us through that. It's quite physical, isn't it? And you have to...
Yeah, at the highest level, 100%, it's a physical sport. I think these athletes, are conditioned at this level of competition. It is, if you ever get a chance to see some of the footage, especially from our state of origin, especially from the Australian guys, it is quite heavy in contact, but it's chair on chair contact. It's not body on body, and that's what I said to the idea of it being inclusive. The fact that in Wheelchair Rugby League it's 100% able-bodied and disabled athletes able to play the game side by side is fantastic. And at the highest level, the competitive nature is extremely fierce. Yep. Yeah.
What's it like to be I think you'd be the first Australian coach in a long time to go to a World Cup and not be the favourite, given how well England and France have done. So how are you going to steel your team to go and face those guys who played at a pretty high level for a couple of years? Yeah, I think I'd prefer it to be that way, not to be the favourite, because then it gives us a chance to really shake it up. And I know from a player's point of view as well, it's something that they're looking forward to. Like we're not going over there to participate. We're going over there to bring home a trophy. That's the whole point of it. So England and France, they're 1 and 2 in the world, and they do get a chance to play internationally on a regular basis. For us, I think it's just the opportunity to give these 12 players, especially from a coaching point of view, give these 12 players the chance to, one, represent the jersey, but also represent rugby league and represent Australia. So for us, I'm excited to get over there. I know the players are too. And once we do get there, the brand of football we're bringing will be a little bit different to what Wheelchair Rugby League has even been traditionally. So we're ready to go. And it must be exciting, because I know when they've showed, the BBC has shown Wheelchair Rugby League on the telly in England, it's gone over brilliantly and people have been amazed by it. So you must be excited to be able to bring that feeling to a wider Australian public. Yeah, and that's exactly right. I think society in general is looking for other avenues of sport, and I think Wheelchair Rugby League fits that mould. It's not a hard sport to understand. Rugby League is an easy game to watch. It's a spectators-based sport, and Wheelchair Rugby League aids that. So the English and French and what they've done in bringing the game to mainstream media in the UK and in Europe is fantastic for us, and the World Cup's just going to elevate that. But for us, we'd love to be able to do a similar thing, and to do that in the World Cup and bring it to the Australian public is something that I would never have thought would actually happen.
You mentioned that England and France get to play international football. What's the key to getting your squad ready for the big international football?
Yeah, I think for us it's just I think brand awareness is probably in around the sport, and I think that's going to happen with Europe and in general, England, France. They're not far away from each other, so to have an international is not that hard. It's basically between here and Newcastle, right? So it's not a problem to have an international game where Australia, we have some really good, and we have some great talent here. It probably matches them, if not, being biased, probably better from a coaching point of view with the talent we have. We just need to help bring that awareness, and through the NRL and everything that we're doing through the World Cup, we are doing that. So I would hope that by the next World Cup in Paris, that we are at a position where hopefully we do have some more countries locally that we can play against.
You've got some warm-up games.
We do have warm-up games. Yeah, we've got 3 warm-up games going in. So we've got the British Army team. That's the day after we land. So in a warm-up game, which is fantastic. Best way to get acclimatised is to play a warm-up game against the team. Then we play against Wales, and then we just finish off against Scotland before we come up against England in round 1. Yeah, so we're getting ready for that. And I know the guys, we've got 3 weeks now before we fly out, and the guys are chomping at the bit to get on the plane and get over there. So.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for your attendance this morning on a public holiday. We much appreciate it.
Thank you.